Hi all, welcome to our first official day of our 54-day course in reconnecting with authentic self. And I thought I should have called it True Nature Through Nature because that's what we're doing, but we'll just say that's the method that we're using. So I'm going to start this class off by saying something that I never ever say and that I actually hate when people say in their videos, but it's actually going to serve a very useful purpose. So if you wanted to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, the alert button, that will show you when the videos are uploaded for this course so that you'll know that that's ready for you for that day. So my intention is to upload the video each day before 2 p.m. So you'll be able to have the rest of the day to complete the activity or whatever it is, listen to the video, and look at the resources for that day. Okay, so that being said, welcome to the intro for this class. Today is really just going to be kind of an overview of what we're going to be doing and a couple of things I'm suggesting that you do to get ready to really dive into the course with our connection to our senses tomorrow. So today I wanted to just tell you a couple things I ran into that I was naturally attracted to. Last night, I always do some reading at night, or usually do some reading at night. I like to do some reading at night when I get the chance. And I felt naturally attracted to a book that I've been reading. Was not the one that I had in mind to read last night, but I went ahead and picked it up because I know about natural attractions. This book is called Radical Acceptance. If you haven't heard about it, it's by Tara Brach, and it's an amazing book. I have read this book a couple of times and I'm going through it again. Anything that I suggest or mention in the videos, I will have a link to it below if you're interested in following up with those. Okay, so what I wanted to read to you, I picked up the book last night after feeling kind of drawn to looking at it, and this is what I read. The chapter is chapter 5. It's called Coming Home to Our Body, the Ground of Radical Acceptance. I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually perfect for what we're doing here. So here's the quote, and this is a quote from the Buddha. There is one thing that, when cultivated and regularly practiced, leads to deep spiritual intention, to peace, to mindfulness and clear comprehension, to vision and knowledge, to a happy life here and now, and to the culmination of wisdom and awakening. And what is that one thing? It is mindfulness centered in the body. Couldn't be more perfect. So I was like, thank you for the perfect quote to start this class out with, you guys. So mindfulness centered in the body. We all know what that means as far as meditation, but do we? There are a lot of different kinds of meditation. There are a lot of different paths to reconnection with self, and the body is, I believe, the primary one. So whether we're being aware of our breath, some methods use awareness of the energy in your hands and your body. All of that is amazing. I reference that in my previous books. But really, they all come down to awareness of the sensations that we're experiencing in our body. So that's what we're going to be concentrating on here. Because if we ask ourselves, how do we have that centered mindfulness in the body? We have two clues from a book that I mentioned yesterday in a video, a book called More Inclined Towards Adventure by my friend Chip Conrad. The first quote is this: our bodies know they belong. It's our minds that make our lives so homeless. So the practice of not placing our attention on our thoughts, on our mind, placing that attention instead in the body is a very healing one. That quote was by John O'Donohue. A second quote in this book gives us the second part of this, the second clue that we need. The quote is, adults needed help connecting with themselves and with their surroundings. So that second clue is with their surroundings. So we have, and that actually has both with ourselves and with our surroundings, which is beautiful because those are the two parts here, which are actually a whole. So we evolved in nature. We evolved to thrive in nature. But what's happened? We've become really disconnected from both nature as we traditionally think of nature, outside, the trees, the outdoors, other species, and from our true nature, which is integrally connected with that nature. They're one, but we've forgotten that. So why have we become so disconnected? We've become so disconnected, in my opinion, for 3 reasons. First of all, we have decimated most of our natural predators. We're pretty much down to pathogens and our own toxification of the environment. So generally, we're not looking out for lions to eat us and that kind of thing anymore. So the dangerousness of our environment has decreased significantly. We are protected from natural predators in our life. So that's one reason we've become disconnected from nature and from our true nature, because we actually don't need that gut feeling of there's a lion, I need to get away from it before we even see the lion. Those kind of gut instincts are what kept us alive in the wild. And we can do without them. We can survive now without them because those dangers and those predators are largely absent from our day-to-day life. However, there's a massive cost from using the intellect instead of our knowing and our wisdom that come from our awareness of our sensations in our body that we've disconnected from. And that disconnect and that cost is a cost of losing part of ourselves, losing our disconnection to our true nature and our authentic self. The second reason I think that we have disconnected from nature and our true nature is our culture. We are enculturated by a consumer culture now. People who want us, and companies and corporations who want us to purchase their products. And what do you need to do to make someone purchase your product? You need to somehow convince them that they need your product, that they are lacking without your product. So we have been taught to go outside of ourselves to books, to gurus, to products, to lotions and potions before we go inside to ask ourselves what we really need and what our natural attractions draw us to in nature for that healing. So we've been enculturated out of really being connected to the wisdom within ourselves, because it doesn't serve someone else who's trying to sell us something if we actually are our own authority. So sovereignty, we've lost our sovereignty partially through our culture. The third reason, a third branch of why I think that we have disconnected from nature and our true nature is childhood trauma. And this is something I've also talked about in videos before, and I'll link I'm not sure how to say his name, and I really looked to find it, Gabor Mate, the physician. There's a great video about this. So I'm going to link that below and assign that to you today if you're interested in doing activities with this course, to watch that today. And he talks about the 2 non-negotiable needs in infancy and childhood, which are attachment to our parents. If we're not attached and if they are not loving us, we actually don't survive because we don't get taken care of. And the other non-negotiable need that we have is authenticity. And if those are pitted against each other, if our parents aren't able to stick with us and love us, even if we are angry, even if we are having our own viewpoint in a myriad of different ways, then we sacrifice the authenticity for the attachment. And what happens is we become detached from our bodies, what our bodies are telling us, what we're authentically experiencing and want to express. And we start to push that down, deny it, and eventually become unaware of it. And this is where illness starts, and definitely where our disconnection from our true nature starts and can really evolve into addictions in our life. And this is what that video is primarily about, the addiction part of it. But we start to try to replace that feeling of authenticity and answer those questions of who am I and why do I feel so yucky with, instead of authentic connection with our true selves, with distractions and addictions, whether those be things that seem healthy, such as working out a ton, eating really healthy. All of those things can become obsessive and addictive and go towards the unhealthy side. Or whether it's something that is very obviously bad for us, such as drug addiction or alcohol addiction. So those are the reasons we become disconnected from our true nature. And I talked a little bit about the cost of that, the cost of being disconnected from who we really are is depression and anxiety hugely. And also there's the cost of the addictions and the distractions in all of those ways on our health, on the time that they take away from the way that we could be spending our time authentically with authentic passions and that we're sharing with the world and developing in ourselves and feeling joy, and just happiness on the daily. So reconnecting is imperative. It's so imperative. And how do we do that? We can go directly to the body. And if we go directly to the body and do it in nature, we're actually like super powering what we're doing rather than just sitting on the floor meditating, which is amazing and I highly recommend it. But if we're doing these things in nature and if we're reconnecting with all of those senses that we've lost connection with, and that's what this class is about, those 54 senses that we're going to be reconnecting with, because that will bring us back into our body, that will bring us back into the present moment, because the body is always in the present moment. It will bring us back into connection with our authentic self, because that's where we lost that connection, when we lost our connection to what we're sensing and feeling. So a big concept we're going to be talking about in this class and working with every single day is natural attractions. This is from the work of Dr. Cohen and Dr. Stacey Mallory, and that I'm actually learning so much in my eco-psychology PhD program. So I want to just share this piece of it with you. And it's going to be amazingly reconnecting. But we have what they term our natural attractions. These are web strings that keep us in balance with our body, with the environment, and ultimately with the entire planet. And this is what we have lost sight of and lost connection with, that has created complete disarray and destruction in the world with other species, and with the planet in general, let alone within ourselves. So we're seeing huge high rates of death and disease. And largely this comes from this disconnect that we are experiencing. So you are in the right place. How amazing that you're here. Thank you for being here. We're going to be doing that reconnection, and we're going to start getting into that connection and reconnecting via our natural connections, our natural attractions. So we're going to start to notice where we're naturally attracted to things. If we're naturally attracted away from something, that is actually an attraction towards something else. For instance, if you are feeling really too hot in the sun, that's a natural attraction to go to the shade. these natural attractions keep us healthy and they keep us, like I said, in balance. So we're going to be reconnecting with those. Okay, so on to a couple of things I would really like you to get. So if you can scrounge around your house, or if you don't have anything in your house, or if you're just a paper product junkie like I am, get yourself a journal that you really like. I love this one. I actually got it at Lassen's. It's very naturey. It's a decomposition book, which I also love that, but it just has scenes of nature on it and it feels nice in my hands. But whatever kind of journal you have, anything will work. But please pick up a journal and have that somewhere where you'll be able to use it while you're watching the class every day and then use it for activities that we're doing. Next, get a pen that you really like. To me, having a pen that I like to use is just a pleasure. This pen, I was thinking about this last night, this pen feels like a big slab of raw chocolate cake when I use it. I don't know why. I just dig it and it makes my writing so much more pleasurable. So if you could pick those two things up for use tomorrow, and you can actually start using it today if you want to just kind of open it to the first page and write 1 to 10. So each day, what I would love for you to do is before you watch the video and before you do the activity is write on a scale of 1 to 10. You can just put a number. 1 being you feel severely depressed, you don't want to get out of bed, you hate everyone and everything. 10 being you are feeling vital and vibrant and excited about life and just overflowing with happiness and joy. So if you would note before the class and the activity your number, and then afterwards, what I've noticed in my life is that it'll jump. If not many numbers, at least a couple, and will change my perspective for the day and change my mood and just upgrade everything for me. So I'd encourage you to do that. I'd encourage you with this class to really put everything into it. And it's not very much time every day. It's just going to be maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. What I've found is I always extend because I feel so good once I'm doing these activities and my numbers are going up. So I like to continue them. And then during the day, I'll kind of dip into natural areas whenever I can, because just being in a natural area improves so many things. It'll improve your mood, your creativity, your performance at work. So many things, and we'll go into more of that as the class goes. But this is a really long video already. I'm sorry. I promise that we do short videos. But if you really invest yourself in a little bit of time each day in this, you will notice a massive change in your life, in your mood, your creativity, your productivity, all of it. So I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to start. And tomorrow, get the pen and the journal ready. Do your number before you start class. And class, it sounds so serious. Just before you start the video, I promise tomorrow will be short. And I will give you something, an activity to do, and the first sense that we're going to be connecting to. So today, your assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to get the journal and pen, do your number, watch the Gabor Mate video. I may be murdering his name, and I'm sorry if I am. And we're going to leave it at that. Okay? So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.